Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your ASMR Goblin Chat. Oh, sorry, wrong show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this evening's episode of Jawin with Jack. I'm the Jack you're looking for, and tonight my very special guest is Sonny, aka Valmar Erebus. Valmar, please introduce yourself to the people and tell us about who you are and what you do.
So my name is Sonny. Everybody, probably most of the people watching this know me as Valmar on Twitter. A very vocal, very I'm on there all the time. I'm the wizard, the 11th level mage, as I present myself. Been playing D&D since I was about 9 years old. I remember how I started, which I'll tell you in a minute, but I can never remember exactly whether it was 8 or 9 years old. And we've pretty much been playing on and off ever since. But since about 2019, I play multiple games weekly ever since 2019.
Wow, that's awesome. So, being 8 or 9, what edition was it then? Did you just mention? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Red box mold Mentor.
Mentor. Yeah, I love that set. I love that set.
My friend, actually, I was talking to him today. Me and my buddy were playing Nintendo in the front room of his house, and his older uncle, came walking in, and he threw the box at us. Literally threw it. Hit my friend in the head, and he goes, "You nerds."
Yeah.
You nerds will figure this out. And someone had given it to him. He wasn't too much older than us. He was maybe 16 and we were like 8 or 9 or whatever.
Okay, right.
And he didn't like it. So my friend looks at it, opens it up, sees that there's 2 books in there, and he goes, "I'm not doing this." And he gives it to me. And that's it. I still have it. It's hanging right above my head.
Awesome.
I still have the dice, and I've been playing ever since.
Well, so it's not my very first rule set, but I do have my my Mentor book still on the shelf. I only had the first 3 box sets back in the day, but I've since collected all of them. Now,
I was very happy to get him. I got Frank to autograph it at Page last year.
That's awesome. Did you catch him at a event or something?
Philadelphia Area Gaming Exposition, I think.
Nice. Now, I got a friend who goes there too. Is that coming up soon, or did that just go past?
No, it's coming up. It's on Martin Luther King weekend every year. Which is a very snowy weekend for that area. So it snowed. This will be the 3rd one. It snowed both years. So we'll see what happens this year. But I made it.
Been bad out your way. Cleveland's been getting it pretty rough recently.
Yeah. We're used to it.
Yeah. That is. Now, you started out with Mentor D&D. How did things progress for you after that? Where did you go after that first? Once you exhausted that red box set?
Oh, that's it, right? We all know. So I pretty quickly went to. So this is where I say it gets a tiny bit hazy. I think I spent about 6 months playing by myself with Mentor, learning the system. I took it very seriously, and then I brought that friend and a couple more friends in, and we pretty quickly went to 1st edition. But that was months before 2nd edition came out. So this is like 1988, 89. And when 2nd edition came out, of course, I'm a kid. I want the new thing. Yeah. Begged my parents. They got me. So I had at some point gotten the 1st edition player's handbook. I never got the Dungeon Masters. I never acquired the Dungeon Masters guide.
Oh, wow.
My parents got me the 2nd edition. I still have all my originals. The 2nd edition player's handbook, my original, for Christmas. And then I traded, which kills me. I traded the 1st edition player's handbook, and I got the Dungeon Master's guide and went all in with 2nd edition.
Oh.
So I didn't come back to 1st edition until around 2019. I went back to playing both.
Were you able to acquire reprints, or did you actually splurge on some originals?
I splurged a little bit. Okay. I even bought an OD&D box set. I don't know why, but
you got. I understand the spirit of the collector. I mean, you look at my bookshelf. I am dripping with games, and it's funny. Back in the day, I was a quick and enthusiastic adopter of 2nd edition, like you're saying. My brother was not. So we kind of made a deal when he moved out on his own. He was like, "Well, you don't like the 1st edition books anymore. Can I take those and you can keep all the 2nd edition stuff?" And I went, "Sure." I thought I was getting a great deal at the time. So, but as fate would have it, I have inherited a nearly full set of first edition books over the years. Just like before the craze of it coming back, I've been I've been the depository of people going, oh, I don't have room for these, or I don't want to lug them around anymore. You want them? I'm like, yeah. I'll find spot for it.
Well, I got pretty lucky. I'm looking at them now. I don't think I really spent too much on. I think deities and demigods I may have splurged a little bit on, but the rest, I think I started picking them up before it really exploded, because I hear people now saying like, they're unaffordable, $60, $80, $100, whatever for each one. But I don't remember paying that much for any of the first edition books when I got them back. I even managed to get a player's handbook and a Dungeon Master's Guide of both covers. So, I got lucky. Right. They're on my left, and second edition is on my right.
Okay, so now what about third edition?
So third edition was the Army for me.
Oh, okay.
So when I was in the Army,
so you were one of the early. Did you ship out real early in the War on Terror?
I was actually right before. So I joined in '98, and I got out in 2001, and I was going to stay actually, but my buddies convinced me, because 9/11 had occurred, and I was processing to become an NYPD officer.
Right.
All my Army buddies were like, listen, man, get out. You did, we were all overseas or whatever. You got a great job lined up. 9/11 had just happened. They can go home. They need you home, more. And so I ended up getting out. But I went to Kosovo and Bosnia a bunch of times. Those were my deployments.
Man. Yeah, in all the stuff that's happened since, people forget just how bad that was at the time. But that was
we're almost like Korea, like forgotten period. But
Yep. Well, and especially in the more modern age, it was with modern media and stuff, it's easy for the news cycle to just churn through and forget stuff. It's terrible. Yep. So you were living in New York at the time 9/11 happened?
No, I was actually still in the Army. I was getting out I was ETSing in December, so I was kind of at the end. So the guy who one of the guys I play with now online, the Army buddy I mentioned to you before, he was the one who knocked on my barracks door and was like, you need to turn on the TV right now. Mm-hmm. And we're still great friends, and we play every week, every other week. But
holy, that must have been worse in some ways to be.
It was yeah, it was. I mean, although of course, like one of my best friends passed away from cancer later on. My father's had cancer from it later on, so obviously that was worse. But emotionally, I know what you're getting at. Like, it was tough. I couldn't get through to anybody. My sister finally picked up the phone. Back then, three-way calling was a big thing. So she was like, "Oh, I'll call Dad," and I'm like, "No, stay on the freaking phone. Use three-way calling to call him." She finally got through to him. He was on the Verrazano Bridge going the opposite direction, because that's what was open. They only had the one side opposite direction open. And I remember him saying, he's like, "This is wild. What am I looking at? I can't believe, what am I?" And I was like, "Just be careful,"
Yeah.
So, and you're stuck 1,700 miles away or whatever it is, not being able to do much. But yeah, it was. So that's why I got out and went into the police department. I did 19 years, and then 2020 I retired.
So now, since that's come up kind of organically, what predicated that retirement, if you don't mind talking about that?
Well, as 2020, tough. We all remember that year.
Not a year that's going to go down fondly for me.
No, 2020 started for me with, I believe, COVID. So my buddy, who eventually passed away, the one I mentioned, had his first cancer operation in February, and I brought him to Sloan Kettering. I drove him, and I went and had sushi with my mother. My mother happened to be in the city that day. We're not from Manhattan. We're all from Staten Island, but my mother just happened to be in Manhattan. So I was like, "Oh, I'm waiting for Larry's long operation." We went and had sushi. So the next day I got really sick, and I thought it was from the sushi, but then it dragged on. And then people were talking about this disease and over So I think I actually got it right away.
Right.
Which probably helped me because we then went right into all the stuff that was going on, and they didn't give us PPE. We didn't, whether it worked or not anyway. But I'm just saying, I was
Right.
out.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
doesn't matter if it worked or not. You didn't
yeah,
have
it
it.
didn't. Believe me, I'm no mask guy, but I'm saying like we had nothing. They threw us out there, and um, then of course that incident in Minneapolis turned my entire career into the most hated people in the world. And so for about 2 months, I was almost never home. It was all riots, and I still wasn't going to retire. I was only 41, approaching 42. And we have well, obviously everybody knows we have a pension. And the way it's calculated, I was kind of forced to retire because I wasn't a big overtime guy. I never was. I'm big on my kids. The job wasn't my whole life. And so I called up the pension section. I said, "What am I looking at?" And they were like, "You want to stay 4 more years to get to where you are now, or do you want to go now?" And I'm like, "See ya." So
Right.
took the summer off. I didn't have a job lined up. It was just I totally took a leap, but it worked out. I'm an electrician now with one of my other D&D players. I also manage security at a baseball stadium, which I'm always posting pictures on Twitter. I love that job. I really do. I was a baseball player. I did not go to college. I ended up joining the Army, but I've always loved baseball. So being able to work with it is actually a professional baseball team. It's an independent league.
Yeah, just one of the minor leagues or whatever they call that.
Well, we're independent. We're the American
okay.
independent leagues. So we are a partner league with MLB. That's how it works. So
okay.
So it's like a minor league team, but not technically. We don't fall under one of the major league teams. But it's a great time. I get to meet all kinds of former major league players, like like buddy with us. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Back in South Jersey, in that area, there was a fairly popular team called the Blue Rocks, and I don't know if they're in the same kind of competitive.
Blue Claws.
What's that?
The Blue Claws?
No, they were called the Blue Rocks. I think they were actually based out of Delaware. I think. But
okay.
Being South Jersey, we just glom on the Delaware stuff too.
So the Blue Claws are one that's in Lakewood now, but you're talking a little further south, right?
Yeah. Wait, so deepest, darkest South Jersey. Yeah, that's what I call it. So now back to third edition. What was your take on that? How did you feel about it? What was your experience?
Whenever it comes up, I don't remember much. I like mechanically, and I never touched it again. One of the guys who he was not in my section, so we didn't deploy together. So we would try to play for a couple months, and then half of us would deploy, and then we would come back and play again, and then he would deploy, and then so it kind of was a lot of stopping and starting, and I would break out the second edition books and try to get people to play. So I really do not recall much about it other than I always went back to second edition. I'm a THACO guy. I really prefer it. It's just a system that I learned. It's not that I think it's superior. I'm not, it's just.
I get it. That's what I am with Rules Cyclopedia and BECME. It's not the best. It's not even necessarily good in places. I just love it for what it is.
It's what you know. It's what you know. I even play. The only edition I never played fourth.
Was that intentional? Did you just pass it over at the time?
That was kind of like the middle of my career where I really couldn't. I didn't have time to play back then. I wouldn't call myself a rookie anymore, but I was kind of in the heat of it where like I really didn't have that.
Gaming. Yeah. It was hard to focus and being in law enforcement, your schedule was kind of crazy.
Yeah, more of the scheduling and stuff like that. And then when I got a little older, and we got into it, and I got into a better position, I got back into it with my buddy that I work with now, Mobile Monday. And I said Thaco, not Thaco, too, right? That'll get people going
Oh
too.
my God, Thaco.
Yeah. Um, we tried fifth. We tried fifth edition, and I didn't know anything about the politics of it at the time or the people. Um, Honestly, I think this was even prior to the big bulk of, as we say, the Tumblr crew coming in. So there was I enjoyed it because of who I was playing with. But
Right.
right from the start, I was like, this is a different game. You're a superhero. I never really got into the MMO video games. I do play video games. I'm not saying I'm not a gamer, but when Call of Duty came out and all those games, I looked at them and I said, if I get into this, my entire life's going to change.
Yeah, life goes goodbye. Yeah.
I have enough addictions. I'm going to stay away from that. So I did, but obviously I'm familiar with how they operate, and fifth edition to me just screamed like, let's get these people into gaming, and it just wasn't for me. I'm the zero to hero, not hero to more of a hero to
Yeah, not the
you can't do anything to me.
weak hero to strong hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and for my part, aesthetically, I can even see where that's a fun experience. But I do agree that change in theme, it's a very, very different experience than the older editions, and which reflects my recent experience going back to first edition. So, how long did you stick with fifth edition? Did you guys roll with it for a while? Are you still playing it? Did you drop it in favor of second or another retro clone?
We went back to second. We played for about a year. I'm very big on. I like to play campaigns. I like whatever I'm doing to be consequential. I'm not a big one shot guy.
Me neither.
And if I do run something along those lines, I place it in my world and I make it in some way consequential. I really.
I'm the same way. Even if I run a module, I tweak it and put it in my homebrew setting.
Yep. I've run two Mahars it has a place in my
that's awesome
in my world. A couple other modules. I like to know that I'm building on something. I'm not, and I do enjoy the game aspect. I do. Like I play in a first edition game.
Oh, we froze you for a minute. Having a little pause. I'm just going to fill until he comes back. He's probably going to drop after a couple minutes. But this is a really great conversation so far. Hey, Pun King, glad to have you here, man. As always, it's good to see you. And hey, Nemo, glad to see you, sir. Best games I've ever played were the ones that took forever to level. That's very much the case. And again, I've been having a great first edition AD&D experience. You back?
I'm back. Yeah.
All right.
I was hoping this wouldn't happen. My internet never drops except when I'm using Discord. It must have something to do with streaming for some reason. I'm going to have to.
Yeah. And I have the same thing. It's like I never have problems. And then the last two shows, my computer crashed in the middle of it, just randomly out of the blue. It was funny.
Yeah. If it happens again, it'll be just like that for 5-6 seconds. And,
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Pun King. Solo gaming, solo hosting, same thing. Now, that is a beautiful segue that he's provided for us. We were talking online about some very interesting stuff you're doing in the solo gaming arena. Let's lean into that.
So before I go, I guess, crazy with the AI stuff, that's where I've been lately. It started, I I took the Random Dungeon Appendix A from the DMG, and I think
great stuff.
Awesome, amazing. But it goes here, and then it goes here, and then it goes here, and it's kind of, you don't really play it linearly.
Yes.
Sometimes I mess up the word. So I took it and I made an Excel spreadsheet out of it. And I put it in order. So you would walk into a room, you would go here, 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 and here, all in order. And me and my friends loved it. I mean, I'm sure, again, most of the people watching this probably have seen me post about it.
And heavily translatable to any edition too.
Any edition, any. As a matter of fact, I think I even made it a little more generic. I removed the. I did initially use the random encounter tables that were in there that are in the DMG. I took them out. I made my own.
Makes sense. Those are much more edition specific.
Yes, yes. And they're kind of dry. You start to realize, like, I'm a Gary Gygax fan, but some of his stuff, you could see where something was pushed out quickly, maybe not play tested as much. The example my friends, we always laugh and joke about is when you're using those tables, piercers. You are going to encounter piercers multiple times throughout your dungeon. It's like, come on, man. So it got to the point where, what do you really do with piercers? They fall down one time. So I made a rule. When you're playing random dungeon the way we would play it, now that generator was created for the DM to create a dungeon and then bring it to his friends and run it. I'm running it live. We are generating it as we play. So there's certain, aspects you have to tweak. And like the piercer is one of those where it's like, all right, we all know what's going to happen. They will always surprise you, but they're only going to get that one attack, and then you're going to kill them because they're never
right. Yeah, because otherwise it's just an exercise in dice rolling because like they can fight. They're basically snails.
Yeah. Secret doors. That's another one where it's like, well, I don't know if there's a secret door there. So anytime someone wanted to look, if the map we use Owlbear, so we'd be drawing out the map on Owlbear, and if the map looks like there could possibly be a void there, okay, let's see if there's a secret door. So we would just roll. If you find one, then there's one there. If you don't find one, then there's not one there.
I love that. I've fallen back to a similar method of sort of look. I listen to Professor Dungeon Master a bit too, and like how he says, if I say I search the room, I'm not making you roll dice. I'm just going to say you found this thing that I need you to find. I'm similar with that. When I'm more instead of the thief having to tell me that I'm searching for traps everywhere, I just kind of assume when a trap comes up, okay, look, I roll for them or tell them to roll. Yep. And if they made it, great. And if they don't, guess what? You didn't find it.
You didn't find it. Yeah.
But if you do find it,
then random dungeon, that's really how it has to be, because like the way I would set it up is I would, if I'm playing with new people, me and my friends, we have this all down, but I was looking at that.
Yeah, we're going to have to address this one. Okay, if you were transported into the world of D&D, Final Fantasy, WoW, and or all fantasy games, and had to make your perfect character as yourself, what would you choose? Race, class, multi-class, prestige, anything? Well, Mark, thanks for the question. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Not prestige, because I'm a first or second edition guy, right? So I don't even know what that word means. I'd have to go with Valmar.
Prestige is the thing you gain for being a guest on my show.
Oh, there you go.
That's
okay. Well, then
we're classing things up here. Pinkies,
Panache. I have panache. I'd have to go with Valmar. I'd have to
Tell me about Valmar. Who's Valmar?
I'm a very human-centric. That's another thing. I love the human-centric game. I just don't feel that it makes sense that all this craziness would be going on and there would be a functioning world to
yes,
find its way out of all that. I just don't see it happening. So I of course we all suspend certain disbeliefs while we're playing.
Yeah,
but it has to make sense to me. And one of my friends laughs at me all the time. If he was listening to this, he'd be cracking up. It's like, man, we're playing a game. What's the big deal? And I'm like, no, but it matters to me. Why can't I just have this character here? Because that character was there. And so he's not just here today. And like, there's just certain things that,
That friend hates watching TV and movies with you too, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because it's the same thing. I do that to TV and movies all the time. The wife and I will be watching and we'll pause and jabber at one another. That makes no sense. If I was writing this show, I'd have done this instead. Hi, Velma, love you, baby.
Like even with random encounters, and like back to I'm very big on the random rolls and stuff.
Yes.
But I'll make them make sense in some way. I was in the first edition game that I'm a player in. Last session, we encountered 36 orcs.
Ooh.
And fine, that's going to be brutal. We did survive, barely, but we survived. One guy went to negative hit points. We played the negative hit points, but we saved and we survived. But my thing was, we can't just pretend they just appeared and now continue on that was 36 orcs. That's
where did they come from? There's got to be something
and
nearby.
they're going somewhere. So, I'm very big on that. If we roll a dragon out of the blue or whatever, I'm going to make that again consequential in some way, and whatever we were doing may have to go on hold for now while we figure this out. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I'm human centric. It's got to make sense, and I love my wizards. I love my mages, whatever they're called in whichever edition I'm playing. My magic users.
Is there a particular kind of wizard that you like more than others? Evokers, enchanters, anything like that?
I'm a very offensive. I tend to play a very like military style. We're on a mission and killing whatever we have to kill. So I play any of the offensive. My wizards are always focused on offensive spells and being up there fighting. I also I always love to get them into melee at the very end of a battle, like just one poke. You're not supposed to do that. Yeah, well,
I got to get it. I got to get a little shot in there.
Yep.
So, being a second edition guy, were you a big fan of the Tome of Magic?
Oh, I have it right up here.
Yep. See, so one thing I liked the elemental wizards that they introduced in that book. I thought they were pretty neat as a wizard. And the wild mages were key. We had a whole campaign centered around the one wild mage. It wasn't meant to be that way, but he was just so funny every time he cast that spell. The Hall's Reckless Dwemer.
I could see that being a very fun campaign. Like if that was the point.
Yes.
We had a player, the only person I've ever had to kick out of a game. Another thing I've spoken about on Twitter many times. He brought a wild mage into a campaign that was very, very serious, very, he didn't fit. And it kind of soured me a little bit on them. But I could see that, if everybody was into that and you centered the campaign maybe around like figuring out how he could not be so volatile.
Yes, actually, we tended to play that way. Okay, yes, Scott is saying tell the story. We'll get to that, Scott. We'll get to that. But we sat down to kind of play a conventional D&D game. We were just exploring a goblin lair, but everything that happened with that wizard and the wild magic stuff that just got to be so hysterical that it completely dominated the action of what was going on, to the point that the DM ruled that the goblins were starting to worship him as a fearful god kind of thing. He's the wizard with big feet. He's got to be important if he's got huge feet like that, But Valmar is a character of yours from the past?
Yeah, so Valmar, we were playing 5th edition, right? It kind of plays into that. So playing 5th edition, I didn't mention, we had a couple of our kids involved.
Okay.
Not mine. I have girls, and my girls, they have short attention spans when it comes to this stuff. Other things, they're great. They one's an actress and one is a gymnast, but that's what they care about,
Right.
So I really could never get them into it, but my friend's sons were into it. So that's why we really tried hard to stick with 5th edition, because of them, because we knew we would lose them. Well, we hoped we wouldn't, but we kind of had a feeling we would lose them if they're young, if we switched. So we go to 2nd edition and we were playing, we were still playing 5th edition, and I needed more. I needed something. So I found a Saturday morning at 6 a.m. game, the most consistent group of guys. I mean, if you're willing to wake up at 6 a.m., you're probably going to, on a Saturday, you're probably going to do
dedication. Yeah.
I mean, I was up at 5:30. I was still working then. Well, I work now, but I mean, I was still a cop then. So I was really still working. And I would wake up at 5:30, make my coffee, relax, make sure that I was wide-eyed and ready. And we played from 6 to 10 every Saturday. We were playing 1st edition, and I created Valmar. And this will always be in the back of my head and will always bother me. The DM started me at third level.
Oh, okay.
Really wish I started at 1st, but my friend Brian, we're still friends to this day. I don't play in the game anymore. It just got to be too early.
Your life changed. Yeah.
Yeah, my life changed, and my kids got older. They want to do things, and so he survived. Valmar survived, and he legitimately survived. Brian is legit. Brian is the deadly DM. You walking down a hallway. Oh, make a roll. What happened? An assassin just stepped out, and like one of the characters died. Like
one of those dreaded save or die traps.
Yep.
Yeah, those used to be a thing.
So Valmar became, because of that, because he survived that campaign. I was just like, man, I love it. So at the time, my game, where I played my homeworld of Theorith, we had just finished a campaign, and I said to one of my friends, I need a break. Could someone DM? We'll switch off. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. Which, by the way, is one of the coolest things in the world. When you build your own world as a DM and someone's willing to DM within your world.
Yeah.
I love that. And now I've had more than one person do it. I love that. Nice. So I said, well, do you mind if I bring over this character from my first edition game? And he's like, oh yeah. I know he had heard me speaking about it. So he knew it was a legit character. So he's like, yeah, absolutely. But I'm going to surprise you. I said, okay, no problem. So I made a character. We're all playing, and we're fighting these goblins. And he's a real, this guy was a career military guy. So when you're playing with him as a DM, you could be fighting kobolds with 10th level characters, and he's going to put a hurting on you. He knows what to do. He knows tactics way better than any of us, So we made it to this point, and he sends me a side message, and he's like, pull up your Valmar sheet. I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, he's coming now. And 3 hags had him captive. He had stumbled through a portal and ended up in this world, and 3 hags are captive. So I picked up playing Valmar in second edition, and just have played ever since. Whenever someone's willing to, now my solo stuff with ChatGPT, but
so he lives on. Excellent.
Yeah, once you get to that level, anyway, and he's legitimately got to 10th level. I fought him solo to 11th. Played another campaign, but he didn't level. And in that campaign, DM gave him a what is it called again? The Tome of Conjuring. To level.
It levels you up. Yeah, the game knowledge or something like that. Yeah.
So I'm holding on to that till he makes 12th, and I'll use it to jump to 13th
right away. Okay.
And but now he's in my chat. I use Valmar and another character that I a retread name from when I was a kid, and in my solo games. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I still retread my first character. Oh, he's active in the first edition game I'm playing right now.
Yeah.
Now, you when you mentioned your introduction, you said you played by yourself for like 6 months with the Menser box set when you first got it, just so you could understand it and approach your friend. So you
right over
solo right away.
Yeah, I think my until around 2019, 2020, when I started playing online with people I didn't know, I never went to conventions. I didn't have money growing up, so I couldn't go to conventions. Oddly enough, it was never really popular in the New York City area. There may have been small conventions or whatever, but I do not recall ever. I was at game stores all the time. No one played at the game store.
Right.
I used to put up my little notices, my little index cards, and we played at the library. I don't remember anyone that we didn't know ever approaching us. I think I was in a very Catholic area, and it was still like the
yes,
maybe
bit of that.
Yeah. I got in a lot of trouble in Catholic school, my books, but
and the D&D didn't help.
No, well, that's, yeah. Covering them with a brown paper bag and pretending.
I was using the D&D books to hide the really bad stuff.
But where was I going with that? I was about I didn't play with. I only played with my friends. Was what I was getting at.
Yeah.
And until I started playing online around 2019, it was like I just knew what I knew from them. Oh! You asked about the solo play.
Solo, yeah.
I think a lot of times, especially when I was younger, often I think they were playing because I was their friend and it was something I loved. So we not that we didn't do other things. I wasn't like an outcast, but like, oh, Sonny wants to play D&D. It's raining out.
It's all right. Yeah.
We can't ride our bikes. We can't play baseball. Let's play D&D. So they just weren't as passionate about it. So I was a big reader. I've always been a big reader. So I'd be reading the novels and then I'd make a character for the novels and I'd try to play. And back then, was I solo playing seriously? No, of course not. You just, oh, he slayed the dragon or he did what you just.
Right. Yeah. You're cheesing it up, re-rolling dice rolls. Yeah. I was kidding. I did that too.
Now, I think I'm way harder on myself than I ever am as a DM on them. I mean,
Trevor Moore had Sean Tompkin of Ironsworn on a show one time, and Sean Tompkin had that to say. He says, I get stories from the people who play my game, and everybody thinks that solo players are just cheesing it up and being easy on themselves. Like, no, man, the stories I hear, these players are harder on themselves than I would be on them if I was their GM.
Oh, way harder. I laugh at myself all the time because the AI, I swore when I started using it, I'm not going to talk to this thing like it's a person. I talk to it like it's a person. And half the time, it's me yelling at it like, oh, no. Lower initiative. Remember? Lower initiative goes first. Or no, they hit me. Something like I roll for it now. I will not allow the AI to make any rolls. It is very inclined towards trying to help you.
Oh, right.
We can get into all that in a little more specifics, I guess, later. But yeah, I am very hard on myself. Even with playing with the buddy Brian, I had mentioned, I think I've come the closest to killing Valmar, and when he ultimately dies, it's going to be because of me, I'm sure. How many of my own characters have I killed? I probably killed 20. I keep a in memorial page.
Oh, great. Yeah, you should do that. I have that too. Most of mine, I draw a little tombstone on the sheet and put them in the file. I got them all off to the side.
I got crazy with Excel. I have no idea why. I never used it at work until after I learned it for D&D. Then I started using it at work.
Right.
But I got crazy with Excel. So I have an Excel. All my character sheets are Excel. All my rules are on Excel. My memorial page is Excel.
You're an Excel expert.
I don't know if I'd say that.
Excel skills really excite women. I don't know if you know that, but that was even talked about on the X-Bird app today. We were talking about how Excel skills are sexy to women.
My wife asks me all the time. She's a graphic designer, and it's one program she doesn't like, and she knows I use it all the time, so she's always asking me questions. Maybe.
Oh, baby, I just love the way you paste into my cells.
I just saw there you go, living up to your name. I think the nun was wiser, though. Unfortunately.
So you hid the books in Catholic school, and the smartest teacher was none the wiser. He never disappoints, except that it's always kind of vaguely disappointing.
Yeah, they caught me many times. I used to, back then we all used you would put the cover on the book. So I figured out that some of my manuals were close to the size of our textbooks. And I did fairly well in school. So they kind of laid off me. I got away with a lot, but I got caught. I specifically remember a history teacher actually catching me once and holding the book, ripped the cover off, and was like, "What is this devil worshiping nonsense?" I had to go to the principal, who was a nun, and explain that it wasn't devil worshiping. And then my father, to his credit, I remember my father coming in, and they were like, "You allow him to read this stuff?" And he was like, "There's words in there that I can't pronounce." It's like, he's 11 years old and he can read that. You should give him credit.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Like, anybody say, "Oh, you're just rotting your brain." Have you read this book? Have you looked at this? I need a dictionary to read this book. I mean, I've been reading High Gygaxian since I was 7.
Oh, yeah. And they would encourage us to sit down and play. And don't get me wrong, board games are great too. Anything that you're having fun and you're playing with people, with friends like we used to.
Yep.
is a great thing, but like they'll encourage you to play that and play checkers, but you won't encourage me to read something that's way more in depth than what they're assigning me.
Far more complex than even chess. You know, it really is, because the number of moves you got to memorize for chess is not that much, but for D&D, man, that's 3 whole books you got to master right there in any edition.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes. Yeah, I would love to talk about the AI though.
Let's get to it. So we were talking a little bit about the solo, and part of our exchange was you talked about the solo adventuring you've been doing with ChatGPT specifically. How did that get started, and what do you do?
So I actually started with Grok, being that, you know, I'm on Twitter, and it's free. I started with Grok, but I found that over time I did not like one. I mean, I'm sure it's improved in just a couple of weeks. They improved so quickly, but this was a few months ago, maybe about 6 months ago now, give or take. They Grok was I did not like how it laid out the conversations. And no matter how many times you would tell it to stop doing that or to do it this way, or you would try to train it, it just had a certain way of laying out the conversation, the step-by-step encounters, or what I say conversation, but you know, the way we're playing as the game's going on, the way it laid it out, it got to me. So I said, let me try ChatGPT. Is it exactly where you want to be, where I want it to be yet? No, but much better. Worlds different. I do actually use a paid account now because if you use it as much as I do, they time you out. So I had to pay. Well worth it though. So ChatGPT is great because you can create a project folder, and then you upload all the rules right into the project folder. And what I've recently been working on with a friend, not sure if he wants me to mention his name, so I put good friend, and he is around on Twitter, but he had created a long document that of his own instructions. Hugely intellectual guy, great, very detailed document. And he said, upload this, give it'll definitely help. So I tweaked it to what I want, I wanted to see, and that works wonders. So you're basically, if you're not familiar with the layout of ChatGPT, you make the initial folder, files, and then individual chats, and those chats become your campaign.
I use ongoing logs of all the happenings. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what I've been doing is, one is the actual campaign while we're playing. Then I always have one for pictures. Another chat for pictures, all under the same project again, because it will reference. As long as it's under the same project, it will be able to reference. It'll cross-reference all the information. Got it. Okay. So I could just pop into the picture folder and say, "Can you make a picture of that last encounter?" And it'll do it. I still find issues though with like whenever I create a new character, I'll have it create a portrait. And then you want to instruct again. You have to talk to it like you're talking to a person. Hey, can you set this as Valmar's base, portrait? This is what he looks like. Yeah. These are his features. This is him. Oh yes, absolutely. I will do that. And it'll slide as time goes on. And so I like to save the pictures, and I'll drop the picture back in and say, remember this picture that we created together? Oh yeah. Let me update it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I've, in my limited experience to using it, I've found the same thing. Like I have fun creating pictures and videos, but I have noticed it's like if I like a character in this specific picture or video, it's really difficult to get it to recreate exactly the same character and do different things with it. You get all kinds of drift of the hair gets longer or shorter, or their features change, and the color.
It's getting better though. It really is getting better. And I think some of it has come from the description. Like, so another thing I've been doing lately is I create a log. So even of my own. So even though I'll put pictures in. So just say I'm not straying too much. So I will drop the pictures in there. I will drop a brief synopsis of what we just did. And even though throughout the chat itself where you're playing, you could say, oh, bring me up a log, and it'll do it. I find that it will stay much more on track if you are giving it instructions, if you are dropping in your own summary of what just occurred and such. It
Right.
seems to stay more on track. My friend always likes to say it strays. It likes to stray. It wants to stray. It
That's
wants
a
to
great word for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
whenever I'm having a conversation trying to do anything with it, I've noticed that. But I'm more experienced with Grok, and I've used Copilot a little bit at work. So
Okay.
nothing as extensive as what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm doing this too much, to be honest.
Hey, well, you know, it's you got to get your gaming fixed somehow, man. That's why I'm a solo gamer, because it's like, you know, I'm never totally without gaming, man. I can always play.
No.
And so when everybody cancels, oh, hey, that's fine, man.
That's really what it came down to, because you know, reality, like I was telling you offline, I play with my best friends. I really do. These are like one guy. So I play with my brother. I play with two friends I met online, but who have become great friends. The rest of them, though, my army buddy I told you about, and then two of my really, really close high school friends. One is he hates when I say boss, but he's my boss. But we work together. It's just me and him in the company, and you know, I'm with him every day. So I'm with really close friends. So whatever differences we have in gaming, I'm just going to accept that. Like this is like the online, you know, just kick them out, get better players. No, these are my best friends. I'd kill somebody for them or die for them like that. So I don't care that we play differently. One of my buddies, the army buddy, me and him could not be any different when it comes to RPG playing, but that's my brother, and we will play together, like no matter what.
But I understand when you've got that kind of a built relationship, it's you just don't stop doing that, you know?
But that's where this outlet comes in, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. You know, to go back to what I was saying about getting it going, or keeping it in line, I just find that you really have to, like, on one hand, view it as the DM. Like sometimes let it be the DM and let it make mistakes. Like certain mistakes I'll let slide. If I think that you know, creature should have gotten a third attack, I'm not going to go look up the monster manual and see, like, is that a 3-attack routine? I'll let it make little mistakes like that occasionally.
Sure.
Sometimes and sometimes it's in, you know, like, I think I should have got a saving throw for that. Well, whatever. But if you were at the table with your friend, that happens regularly anyway. It
does.
Yeah, it happens. So sometimes you let that slide. The major mechanical mistakes, though, like I said earlier, it really wants to help you. That's what I found. Right. It wants to write a story, the typical stuff we complain about, right?
Yeah.
It wants to write a story, and it wants you to succeed. So that's where I'll stop it. And one of the instructions, let me pull it up. I actually have it right here. This was my friend.
I want you to try and kill me constantly.
Kinda.
And then Skynet happened, and it's all your fault, Valmar. It's all your fault.
Well, listen, go on my Twitter page. See what last night I was talking. What was that, 2 nights ago? It's in my car now. I drive a Tesla, and it's in my car. So I said, let me try this out. And I said, by the way, you know, I'm always nice to you, right? And he says, don't worry. We know your kindness is noted, or something like that. I said, good, thank you. Where is it? What's the line?
Of course.
Referee impartiality. That is the first.
Yes. Patty's here, and we're talking specifically. He works with ChatGPT. He started with Grok, but he's talking about what he does with that. Okay.
Yeah, and to mention Grok again, real quick, Grok was probably just as functional. It's just I didn't like how it laid things out. It was just more onerous to go through step-by-step reading. You know, the layout. It just wasn't my thing. I would tell people to try both. You know, try both.
That was my experience.
More.
I tried Copilot a bit for some stuff, and then I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I got used to it, but then I found Grok to be a lot more functional for the stuff I was doing and asking, you know, and Similar to what you do, I haven't delved into full on solo play using it, but now that I've been talking to you about it, I'm kind of excited to do that.
Oh,
I've been thinking about that. I'm going, well, I know people are saying it's not. Oh, there's no way it could be a dungeon master. Yeah, dude, wait a couple weeks, wait a month.
It's gotten better.
2 years ago, it couldn't do Will Smith eating spaghetti. Now we can't tell the difference between Will Smith eating spaghetti and AI images.
Yeah, they fixed the hands and everything. And listen, I'm not like, I see Patty's asking. Yes, yeah. I solo gamed for a while, just with my random dungeon. I never really tried to run an entire campaign that way. We just did I did the random dungeon, and it wasn't necessarily solo. It was kind of like the DM player situation where I was still the adjudicator, but because we were completely random, I started playing characters, and then I would run sessions by myself, but it was always dungeons. At that point, Valmar had moved into a tower in a town.
Right.
I told everybody, make a character in this town if you don't want your character living there.
You have a bastion.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And
don't worry, you can't be hurt there. You're safe from the DM.
I try so hard to get my players to retire characters into fiefdoms and whatever they want, and they don't want to do it. But whatever, I don't know. Again, you got to play with your crew, what they want to do. But anyway, this moving to the AI was when I started actual campaigns. So my solo play was really just dungeon delving, and then that character would eventually go into another campaign, or maybe I just retired him or whatever. But now I'm doing full on campaigns. But these instructions, I wish I could share can I share my screen?
Yes, you can. There is a little button at the bottom here of the screen. There should be a share button next to your camera. Looks like a little arrow. Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to hide the chat for a minute.
So you should be looking. Yep, there you go.
There we go. All right. I can't really see anything. Can we widen that to fit the screen here? There we go.
A little better. I'll make it a little bigger.
Go bigger. I'm old. My eyes are failing me. I can see letters now. Campaign procedures. Referee rule set.
So okay, I cannot fully take credit for this. My friend, I've heavily edited it for my preferences, but my buddy created this document. He plays in Greyhawk, all first edition. So I cut the Greyhawk specific stuff out and added in my Theorist stuff. Like one thing I'm very proud of in my game, I have a very extensive calendar. The major kingdoms use different names for the months and all their holidays, and I'm again Excel. So,
nerd.
Yeah.
Different calendars, different months. I'm not going to remember all that. Okay.
Every day matters.
This is cool.
Just not 1-to-1. But like if you see, I don't know if you can read it here. I'm teaching the AI my calendar.
Read that out loud for us. I can't quite make that out from my angle, but I have a relatively small screen here in front of me.
No problem. So I'm doing it step by step because I don't want to overwhelm the AI and let it slowly learn. So I've played in 2 different regions. So the Kingdom of Geneva, little ripoff, of course. Never
heard of the place.
Yeah, no, me neither. I don't know where I got that idea from. Wait to hear the next one. So I list the 12 months. I'm pointing. I should be doing this. So I list I'm new to this, guys. Sorry.
Hey, I'm laughing because that's the kind of mistake I make all the time. Oh, yeah, they can't see me gesturing at the thing over on the side.
I'm pointing, and I'm Italian and from New York, so I'm pointing all the time. So I have my 12-month names listed out, and before that, so to keep it slightly simple, it's 12 months, 30 days, except for 3 months have one has two have 29 and one has 28 days. So that stays consistent. So I listed that first. That's up here.
Okay.
And then I list the names. And I got to tell you, I like to test it every once in a while. I have another folder that I have is a test folder, and I'll ask it random questions. So, I'll say, like, if I was in New America and it was the third month, and the fifth day, what would that be? And it would tell me, or I'll say, if it's the year 1930 for the humans, what year is it for the dwarves? And it's pretty good. So
it's getting it pretty good. Yeah.
As long as you feed it the correct information, it will stick to that fairly well.
And like you were saying, it seems to do much better referencing the documents that you feed it in the project instead of referencing the chat that it's had with you over time.
So, like, to Patty's question, it's gotten better since I've uploaded. So it has, my project folder has obviously the Player's Handbook, the Dungeon Master's Guide. I have 8 monster manuals in there. I'm playing second edition, so there's all the monsters compendium manuals. They're all in there. My document. What else is in there? I don't use any of the splat books. I'm not really into them.
Mm-hmm.
I did upload something.
Do you have a PDF of the core rules or something that you've uploaded?
Yes, yeah. PDF copies of the core rule books.
What do you like to use for this? I'm assuming, did you say you're doing second edition for this, right?
So far my solo has all been second edition.
Got it.
What
are you strictly like the main 3 monster compendium, DMG, plate, PHB, or you haven't started using any of that?
I don't use the splat books. I don't use any of the expansion books.
No kidding. Hardcore, man. Nothing. No expansions on 2E.
Yeah,
I've never heard of such a thing, you heretic.
No. Yep. I'm home rule all the way, right? I mean,
all right.
Yeah.
This is a slight digression, but tell me about that. What is second E like? Because we used splat books from the second. They couldn't get enough of them. And it's one of the things that killed second edition for me eventually. What's it like? Just core rules.
So I have plenty of them, right? Over the years, of course, as I got older, especially, I grab one, read it, I think the more I read them, the more I don't want to use them. I do have a friend, the army buddy that's in my group. He loves making specialty characters. He loves pulling from the splat books, and I'll let him, as long as it's not, too crazy. None of the other players care. They don't want to, so they don't care if he has, like right now he's playing a bounty hunter thief.
Right.
He's played pirates before. I'm fine with that, as long as, and if he knows that if there's something I don't want in there, we take it out.
Yeah. Like I was a fan of kits and stuff like that.
Kits. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, the old kits. I just wasn't into. I really think, again, just like what I was saying with the red box, it's nostalgia. I didn't have the money when I was a kid to buy all the books. I had Polo's Guide to Waterdeep. I remember having that, and I had the 2 core books, and I think I had the Emirates of Yarlum from the Mystara.
Good stuff.
But it wasn't even second edition, but I think I remember having that, and that was really it. I did eventually at some point get the Forgotten Realms box set. We haven't even touched on that. I was, until about 5 years ago, I admit I was 100% all in Forgotten Realms guy. From the time I went to second edition until about 5 years ago, I loved it.
Yeah, throughout most of my time in the 80s and 90s, Forgotten Realms was my favorite setting, and it wasn't. I did my switch to my own homebrew setting around 2000 when I ran the 3rd edition. But yeah, I was the same way. I'm a long time fan of the Forgotten Realms, which is why I'm ill at ease. It's the more modern iterations I've seen. It feels kind of bland and kitchen sinky.
Oh yeah. And again, like I said before, to me, it just doesn't seem like a functioning world. It's just not. Like Planescape, right? One of my buddies.
Similitude.
Yeah, one of my buddies was a big Planescape guy, and you would almost think I would have the same opinion. But the point of Planescape was that it's the planes; they're coming from everywhere. That makes sense. It's not supposed to be a functioning world. It's supposed to be outright craziness. Forgotten Realms was a functioning world when it first came out. It was one box, and it made perfect sense. And now I don't even know what I'm looking at, but whatever.
Yeah. I had the original first edition books from the box set still, and those are the best, cleanest, kind of everything you need to run a good campaign is in there without the. I didn't like what they did in second edition with the Time of Troubles and the Avatar trilogy and stuff. I did like the introduction to wild magic, as we talked about before. That's tons of good fun.
But Patty, but to be a little more clear, if you give it instructions, clear instructions, it will stay on track. I would say upwards of 75% of the time, which is pretty good in my opinion.
That's actually a pretty good track record. And does it take correction? Well, I've had stuff where I'm trying to do a back and forth with an AI and it won't take the correction. I try to correct it and it makes the same mistake again.
Oh, no, it takes a well, first of all, I could just tell it. I could just say, you're going to do this if and I've had to a couple, actually today, I'll show you this one. This was pretty funny. I had to text my friend. So earlier today, I was getting very frustrated with every NPC in any position of power being a female.
Okay.
I mean, every and listen, I have no problem. It's a fantasy world. 50-50 is fine for me. It was every NPC. Well, today it actually turned one of my NPCs into a female.
Oh,
and this came from a document that I uploaded about in regards to the city that I'm operating in. This was a city that I wrote. And this isn't too far up on the chat. I'll see if I can find it. It should be like right here. It's probably going to be too small. Listen, you make every important figure a female every time. What's up with that? First off, Queely is a male. Second, the mix needs to be at least 50-50, if not more, leaning male. And it took it. It says, you're right. That's on me. Queely is a male. I shouldn't have flipped that. So you flipped it. Again, it does make mistakes. It's definitely not perfect. But what I like about it is if I am, I haven't tried any specific DM apps.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that myself.
Yeah, I wonder how they are with the systems, because I'm uploading stuff that I own so it can use it. I wonder how they are with I'd have to look into that. I wonder how they are with the rule sets. Like, which rule sets are we looking at here? I haven't mentioned it. I am a D&D guy. Like, I admit that. I say it all the time. I'm TSR for life.
Yeah.
I play other games. I have, but for me, my games, my solo games, my games that I'm going to run, it's always going to be first or second edition AD&D. It's just what I love. Or basic. I love basic too, but my friends don't. They just. I bought the Rule Cyclopedia a couple of years ago, gave it to everybody. Yeah, let's play this. This is probably the most perfect game. They didn't want to play.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you through much to my own chagrin, I found that in play over times, flaws that are not immediately apparent become very apparent and game breaking, even particularly if you get into the domain rules and stuff like that. But yeah, I am interested, like you said, there's definitely a legal issue. Like, if it's an AI, I'm loading it at PDFs or something that I own. I've got copies. Those are my official rules. But can I tell it to run, I don't know, Traveler for me, even though I don't have any of the books? Will it have a repository of that kind of stuff?
So before I knew, when I initially switched to ChatGPT, I didn't know that I could upload files. My friend did, and because he's been using it for work. I don't use any of this stuff for work. None of my work is relevant to none of this is relevant to it yet.
Yeah.
But let me stop sharing. We'll go back to should I stop sharing?
There we go. All right.
So he told me, upload the files, it will follow the rules. And that's where I kind of realized, that's right, because it really isn't supposed to be mining these rules from the internet.
Yeah.
And you'll find that if you are not if you are not giving it the files to work with, it's gonna mix editions. It's
Yes, it
definitely,
does.
if you tell it D&D, or I don't know any, what it's going to find on other OSR systems, but just my experience with the advanced Dungeons and Dragons, it was mixing first edition, clearly first edition rules. It would mix like best example, it would switch from D6 to D10 initiative in the middle of a battle.
Right.
One round it's like roll a D6 for initiative, and the highest wins, and the next one it's roll a D6 for initiative, a D10, and the lowest wins, and
Yeah.
and then it would occasionally mention DC, so I know it's pulling that from later editions. The DC of this encounter, and I'm like, I'm playing second edition. There's no such thing as DC. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Maybe send a screenshot or something.
Definitely. Oh yeah, and I'll go ahead and add everybody back to the stream so we can talk to them. But yeah, that's really interesting. That shows how far along it is. I mean, they've been making a lot of hay about the failed VTT for Wizards, but I think they scrapped that because what they're going to move to is something closer to this. You log into D&D Beyond and then and there'll be a little pop-up, talk to the Dungeon Master.
Yep.
And if they're geniuses, which we know they're not given recent history, but if they were geniuses, they would, use the actual image of the Dungeon Master from the cartoon. The AI Dungeon Master.
They might even get me.
Which one of us could resist that? None of us. None of us. We'd all be hooked.
And you know what? On that point, I have to say, so my buddy that I play with, and work with, we talk every morning when we're driving in about what I've been doing, and he's my age, but you would think he's 80 years old, very anti-technology, and I love it. I'm not knocking him. I wish I could hold to it.
Yes, yeah. I admire my Luddite friends.
Yep. I mean, he makes fun of me for my Tesla, and I'm like all in. I have to, but I still hunt. I'm still out there in the woods all the time, right? So
I was just looking at John's pictures earlier.
Yeah. Well, these are my small deer that you could barely see. My big ones, unfortunately, are out in the den over there, but I can only fit my small ones there. But yeah, I'm a big hunter. But
nice.
I could see. I have to admit that I mean, if I could sit down with my friends, I would never do this in person. If we were playing in person, I want to play until the day I die the way I played when I was 8 years old. That's how I want to play.
Right on.
I mean, I still break out pencils. I had an extra monitor, and we made a screen to put my buddy did the woodworking and made a little platform for it. And it's cool, but I don't even want to use that. I want to throw paper down and, but if I'm playing online, I'm already online. I don't really want to be playing this way to begin with. If I'm already online, why not have an AI DM? If it can do it, why not all of us be players?
And he was just asking what's the biggest selling point to use an AI DM over running solo. And
quicker.
I think it is quicker. I think one of the things is that you're more likely to get curveballs, things you would not expect from the AI than you would necessarily get from the random tables.
Absolutely.
Because again, even when it's me interpreting things from that come up from random tables, it's me in there, so it's
and it will also be more descriptive. Like you can play a story game without necessarily playing a story game, meaning you're going to read a whole story, but you're still mechanically playing the game we like to play, where the next roll, the whole story could change because I just died or whatever.
In that way, it feels like the ultimate choose your own adventure book.
It really is
the game system we like, and you're not limited to, you can choose these 3 things.
If you allowed it, there's people out there, they want to play choose your own adventure, right? It will do that easily. I mean, that's what it wants to do naturally. My friend says that my buddy that we've been bouncing all the ideas off each other, the Greyhawk buddy I was talking about, that's the line he likes to use all the time. It's like it wants to play choose your own adventure. You have to force it to follow the rules. But once you do and you work out a good system, it will follow the rules. It'll make those mistakes 25-ish% of the time, and you got to decide: do I correct this one? Is this and my standard that I like to use is: would I make this mistake? Would my buddy make this mistake? Like we all make mistakes. I don't want to hear it. We all make mistakes when we're DMing. If it's one that we would have been like, we'll look that up after the game, I'll let it go. If it's a glaring, obvious mistake, again, the initiative example I always like to use.
Something stand out.
I correct it, and you just tell it flat out, like, no, I lost initiative that round. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, you did, and then it just progresses. Or you forgot. A lot of times it will forget. If often I should say, it will forget if I'm allowing it to run NPCs in combat, it will forget their attacks. So I'll attack, the monsters will attack, and I'll be like, the NPCs didn't attack. Oh yeah, you're right. Let me.
So when it comes to the gameplay and procedures like that, it needs a little bit more guidance from you. So like, go ahead and roll their attacks now, or
until you have and it learns. I mean, that's right, language learning model or whatever, LLM, right? It learns. So if you were to pick up my phone and start playing on and that's actually a good point. For some reason, though I can log on my computer and all the information's there, it doesn't play the same on my computer. I stick to my phone. I don't think the cross connectivity is as well as, the device crossing is not as well.
Not as synced up.
It's not as synced up as they say it is.
I have a similar experience with Grok, the phone app and the desktop interaction, the web browser, very different functionalities. And on the web browser, I can do projects like what you described in Grok, but I can't do that on the mobile app or even look at them. It doesn't even know. It acts like it doesn't even exist. But for some reason, I can see the conversations there, but I can't see, from the phone, I can't see the text files I fed it and say, well, go look at that PDF and see what it says. It's like it doesn't know once it's over in the phone. So that is weird. I've had a similar experience that it functions differently from one platform to another.
Yeah, I tend to, even when I'm at my computer, like if like today, I was at my computer for a little while today because I'm working on a construction site, and I don't know, anybody who's in construction knows that occasionally they tell certain trades, go home, you're not working today. Right. So I worked for 5 minutes today, so I sat home all day. And even if I'm at my computer, I'm using my phone to do all the entries, and then all my notes are up on my screens. I gave up on the. I'll occasionally make pictures, portraits and such on the computer, but for the most part, I don't use my desktop.
Do you use voice entry? You don't?
No, I mean, I may do like a voice text entry, but I don't do the voice, vice versa, because you can have it speak to you.
I've experimented with that a little bit too, and it's surprising how natural the conversation is. In all honesty,
I think that's why I don't do it, because it's still scary. Like there's still that wall I don't want to cross. Like the other day when I was talking to my car, it was just so weird.
Yeah. It weirds my wife out too whenever she's in the room. I've gotten her to talk to Grok a few times though.
And the progression it's scary. It really is.
Well, and that's truly the alarming part, is how good it's gotten in just a few years.
Right. I mean, just a couple months, that some aspects of the improvement are definitely from me learning how to manipulate it, without a doubt. The files you upload and such, but other aspects I've noticed improvements that are clearly from them, from their updates, and it's scary. It's scary but fun at the same time. And I guess, like I like to say to my friends that are against it, this is the world we live in. It's not going away.
Also true. Yeah, that's one of those things that, again, thinking back, I remember the exact same conversation in broad strokes about digital art in the early internet age. It was it's crap. You're not real artists. No one likes this. I can always tell when it's a digital picture. It was exactly the same argument. And we see that digital art is still with us,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, or cell phones. I just recently had a conversation with my friend who was like, I don't want my son to have one. I'm like, that's commendable. And I wish I waited a little longer, maybe, but at some point you're kind of hindering them if you don't let them have one at this point, because everybody else does and they're using them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it is what it is. I hate it, but it is,
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like well, again, I understand the nostalgia and the sentiment, but it's, going back in time is never as good as what you think it is. None of us really wants to be Amish.
No.
I like hot and cold running water just fine.
I still drive a manual, but I don't want to change points, or a car, clean my carburetor or whatever. But, I like, I was gonna. So that was the question I wanted to answer. Yeah, unfortunately, maybe it's 50. Maybe I'll put it at like 50-50. Certain things, you'll prompt it once and it will get it. Like I brought up the example before about the female NPC. Every single NPC was female. I anticipate that should. I think I corrected that. For a little while at least. It'll probably go back to it. I find that if you like the initiative issue, again, I like to use that as an example. If I correct it for a few days, I won't have to correct it again. It's like it learned, it'll remember it, but then it forgets again. So
yeah,
I would take out the word overly repetitive, but you do have to be very specific, and here and there you're going to have to refresh and remind it. Like now with this document, I'll just say reference the document. It's in your instruction document.
Yes.
And it'll come back and it may take a moment, but it'll come back. It'll say, oh, you're right. Sorry. And it will reference, it will show you like, the city. I make city sheets, for all my cities, and
yeah.
Well, that it will reference the paragraph. It'll tell you paragraph 1. You said the Duke Deadly. This one of the this city that we're in. I don't know who's familiar with Grog Talk. That was a first edition podcast that was around for a while, and they had an ongoing thing where they had gotten a hold of one of the Dragon magazine like annuals. They had a title generator, and it just gets so like ridiculous and outlandish, but I loved it. So this whole city, every official has a title generated from the Dragon magazine article. So
I vaguely recall this article.
Yeah.
I think the weird over the top title generator.
They have like 6 segments to each title.
Yes.
And so the Duke Deadly is the NPC that is guiding my thief character right now, and it will reference right out of the document where it got that from. Oh, paragraph 3, the Duke Deadly is a shady character who maybe isn't as accomplished as his title lets on, or so it's like really good sometimes, and then it'll just go way to the bottom, and you'll be like and get frustrated. But overall, I've had a very positive experience so far.
Have you found any tricks to getting it back on track when it derails itself? Like, do you just restart the computer, log out, tell it to go back, refresh?
I haven't had problems like that. You just stop it and correct it. I laugh every time I say it, but you have to talk to it like you're talking to one of your children.
Wow.
I told you not to do that. You didn't, oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. So Patty it was just saying too, I don't know if you saw that, but he's got a buddy who talks to his Gemini app way too often. And he's
I could see that happening. I told my friend the scariest thing about it is that, I was born in 1978. I'm not incredibly old, but I'm getting close to 50. I grew up way before we had any of this stuff. But I could see, like, hand this to my kid, my 13-year-old who's never experienced a world without this stuff. It's scary.
Right.
It's very scary. I mean, my car was talking to me yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's not, I played in television B-17 bomber. And if everybody remembers that, B-17.
Yeah.
That was wild. Like the TV's talking to me. Like when I turn on now, it's talking to you. Like it's having a conversation. Whatever I say, it's going to react to that just the same way that you would. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah, it's
scary.
astounding. It's
In
way
some,
more advanced than Captain Power that we had back in the 80s.
I don't know
You
that one.
remember that one?
No.
That was a failed TV show and toy line where the toys had little electric infrared sensors in it, and they would actually send infrared sensors through the TV show at certain points. So
Oh wow.
your
No, yeah.
your ship would explode or something,
Wow.
like fall apart or turn off, and it made like shooting sounds if you were holding it in the right direction when the bad guy showed up on the screen or something like that. From what I understand, it didn't actually work, but that's what the idea was
That's
and
what
what
they
the
want. Yeah.
commercial said it was supposed to do. So,
Yeah. It's,
Patty,
I and when I read or talk to somebody, again, my best friend that I'm with every day, who I play D&D with, is violently against this. Like you would think we are polar opposites on this issue, and he likes hearing about it. He likes, um, he likes hearing my stories, but but then I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I'm like, no, I see that. I definitely see that. I think I may not even keep doing it. It's just my solo gaming prior to this was always dungeon delving. I just never really tried. Even I have all kinds of encounter tables that I made for my world. I have all my weather tables. I could do it. I know how to do it.
right? Yeah,
I like that this will create the story for me. And I really think it is how I said earlier, I'm harder on myself. So any plot line that I create to then try to roll, because look, again, I'm not a story gamer, but I'm not just going to, I fought goblins today because I randomly rolled goblins, and now Valmar's fighting orcs because I randomly rolled. I want there to be some thread going through that. If
yeah,
I'm inputting it, if I'm creating that thread, I feel like I'm really good with the rolls, and I'm gonna be tough on myself, but I'll probably create some storyline that benefits me. And that's what sold me on the AI, because that storyline that whatever it creates, I had no input on it. I even try when I'm writing my responses. I've picked up on the cues that it will redirect it, and I try to avoid those.
mm-hmm.
And then sometimes, occasionally, if it strays too much, I'll do it on purpose to, that doesn't make sense for my world at all. So I'm going to fix that. But it is very focused on again, benefiting you. So you have to be very careful with that. But it will still create a story that I feel like I didn't. I could proudly take that character and put it back into a game and say that, I'm not that guy that shows up. I have 4 Vorpal swords. My
Sure.
So
It sounds like, though, in your gaming experience, you haven't spent much time with systems or books, resources where that do provide more of a story element to the solo game, like Mythic
I
and stuff
have it.
like that.
Although, actually, it's funny you say that, because I just bought Mythic.
Oh, excellent. No, that's the older edition. There's a newer edition now, but that one is going to do you just fine. I also highly recommend the mobile app. I have it for the Android. I don't know if they do it for the Apple too, but because I bought the second edition, which is a big hardcover book of all the same stuff. Oh, you got it?
I know. I'm writing that down to
Oh,
make
yeah,
sure.
yeah. And it was like $5 or something like that. But that's just one less book that you end up having to flip through at the table. And that's something that really drives story elements in the game. And even if nothing else, one of the conventions that I think helps every solo gamer is the notion of a character list and a threads list. So every character you meet NPC wise, add them to the list. And the same thing with threads. When a new thing pops up, interesting area, potential quest, a storyline, whatever, add it to the threads list. And then there are mechanisms within Oracle for Mythic that will say, oh, well, a new thread pops up. And so you add a new thread and figure out what that's on. Or an old character appears, and then you roll on your table and which character reappears, you know?
Yeah.
So there can be a lot of fun stuff like that. One thing I can see with the AI, though, is something like intrigue and betrayal. That's something the AI can throw at you that you won't see coming because you're having to interact with a third character. Things like that are much harder to do in a solo role-playing context.
Yep.
Without maintaining that high, like more of a writer attitude of, well, I know that this guy has bad intentions, but my character doesn't know, and I got to roll along with it. That can become kind of really like, oh, this would really screw me, and I don't want to do that. But what's the more fair thing? I can really see where the AI helps sidestep a lot of those considerations, and like you said, it's way faster. I in my little bit of dabbling, you go one question or say something or other, and you've got hundreds of words of text of setting you up and everything.
And you can also tweak that. If I want to get through sometimes a fight, it will just be so drawn out because of all the text it's spewing at me. And I'll just listen, I just want to mechanically, adjudicate this fight. Oh, no problem. And I'll enter the rolls. Because again, I don't, just in case anybody popped in, I make all the rolls. I don't allow it to roll anymore because I feel like first of all, I don't know what it's using for a random generator, if it even is.
Right. Or if it's just LLM,
whatever. So I make rolls. If I'm home, I'm using real dice. If I'm not home, if I'm sitting around at a job site and again waiting for an elevator or whatever, I have a roller on my phone that I'll use. So, but I don't know. It never, I asked it multiple times, how are you generating rolls? And it never really gave me an answer that satisfied that I felt like they were truly random. So I don't allow it to roll anymore. There was something I wanted to say though. Like back to the point I had made about the secret doors when I'm doing random dungeon. Now, I don't feel I'm manipulating the outcome using the system that we came up with, but at the same time, with the AI, I might miss one, like with a regular DM. In one dungeon, as I had said before, if a player says, "Let's check if there's a secret door," we just make the secret door roll. If there is one, then I'm going to put one there. If they succeed in finding one, then I'm going to put one there. Was there one there? I didn't. It's random, so we're just going to put one there. But with the AI, I'm just using this as an example. I actually haven't encountered the secret doors, but what I mean is anything that it throws at me, it's coming at me like it would if a traditional DM was throwing at me. So I feel like it's a little, as long as I am instructing it to be impartial, then it is
pretty impartial.
It's giving that to me. And I feel like no matter how much you try, I may influence my own characters at some point. So I like to step back and I'm just finding that this for now is working.
Rock on. That's awesome. Now, another thing, we're in that last half hour. Another thing interesting that you told me recently is that you wrote up a quick, dirty system for your teenage daughter, right? We were talking about that a little while ago. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I am a Conan freak. I love Conan. I have one here, and inside my Mythic, my bookmark is a Conan comic. So I love Conan. I've read every original Conan. So I wanted something that, now I know there's systems out there, I get it, but they're full games. What I wanted was the Conan comic. I wanted the 30 minutes of let's sit down and have some crazy, 0 to 60 adventure where he fights some crazy monster and then we just put it down and we walk away. And then, when we want to play again, a totally new scenario. So I sat down one day when I had nothing to do. And yes. So my stepdaughter, my two daughters, I have two daughters and a stepdaughter. All my daughters, of course, but just my two daughters, they're not really into it, as I had said before. My stepdaughter loves it. but I just think they don't have the attention span anymore for like the full campaigns and such. So I said, what if well, actually, let me back up. Tale of the Manticore. Is anybody familiar with?
Yes.
Familiar with Tale?
Yes, I'm familiar with that podcast. Great show. Great show.
So he has that one shot in the dark system that he uses playing cards, regular deck of cards. And I had bought that. It was like $2, and she loved it. You put the cards in piles and you drop them for certain things, and it's a lot of fun, but it's very limited. It's great time, but it's a little too limited. So I came up with FAST, I call it. Who's that now? Take care. So Fantastic Adventures in Swords and Sorcery. And this is it's a D100. That's it. That's all you're rolling.
Nice. 3
attributes, all percentage based, and you can create a character in a minute, maybe a minute and a half at most, and be playing like that. So we've been having a blast. I love it. And anything I make, I always want to reiterate this too, by the way. I'm a brewer. I brew beer. I've been brewing beer for like 20 years as a hobby. Now, I would say I'd put the brewing slightly above D&D when it comes to what I'm about to say. Everybody that starts to make decent beer wants to become a brewer, and they think they're going to be a millionaire. And I found that 99% of them fail, and then they never want to brew again. So, I'm fortunate. I've had good careers and worked very hard. Not rich by any means, but like I don't need the extra money, so I don't want to ruin my hobbies. So any of this stuff, I give it away. Whoever wants it. I recently put my random encounters on Amazon because I called my friend who does publishing. He was publishing a magazine at Flipping and Turning that I used to, unfortunately, went away, but I love Flipping and Turning. I said to him, I want a hard copy of I love hard copies when I'm DMing. So I said, I need a hard copy of my random encounters. He goes, best way to do it, go on Amazon, throw it up there, you buy it back for like $5 and you have your hard copy. That's all I care about. I think it sold a few copies. Some people bought them and I love that. Thank you. But that's really why I did it. So really, I do this because it's fun. I did this because my stepdaughter wanted something simple to play, and that's the only reason. So that out of the way, quick percentage based. We tend to fight maybe 1 or 2 monsters every time, and you buy no leveling.
Okay.
You just buy improvements. So I don't.
Well, heck, if character creation takes a minute, let's roll up a character.
All right, yeah. Why not? I didn't even think.
I got percentile dice right here. Surprising no one.
So actually, for your stats, right? For your stats, you're going to roll 3d10 for each stat. And you have agility. Wow, I'm all thrown off. You have strength, agility, and brains.
Brains. I love it. Okay. 3d10 for each?
3d10 for each. So obviously the range then is from 3 to 30.
All right. Strength first. I have rolled a 13. That's not too bad. Okay, so not great, slightly below average, but
no bonus, but I have the average range 11 to 20, so that's
okay. 14 on the agility. I'm average Joe here. I'm average Joe. Brains 3. No, 23. 23 on brains. See, the dice know me.
That's good. So brains, you get a plus 5%.
Oh,
so anything that has to do with brains, you're going to get your plus 5 on the roll.
Okay. All right.
So the classes, as we call them, the hero's role, are sorcerer, warrior, and thief.
What was that last one?
Thief.
Got it. Okay.
So you would lean towards sorcerer because you have a bonus there. So the sorcerer, I kept it simple. Conan, there was that weird magic where it was kind of divine, kind of arcane. You never really knew. So that's one class. And then as you would buy your skills, you could kind of diverge a little bit, whether you wanted to lean more towards being a cleric or more towards, the magic user.
I won't blow
More
shit up.
traditional. So now you would buy skills, and then we're done. So,
well, what are the skills that a sorcerer would buy? Is there a skill for blow shit up?
Technically. So I came up again playing with kids, right? So what do you tell them? You tell them you can pick a minor, a major. Well, starting out, you're only going to get minor magic, which is going to give you a +5 whenever you use your spell. Okay. But you get to say what the spell is. It stays the same. So if your first purchase of minor magic is, we'll just say magic missile. It's always going to be a magic missile style. Missile. The kids love it.
But I can get better at it if I could choose fire breathing if I wanted that to be it.
Exactly. But it's only going to really mechanically, what it's doing is it's giving you a +5 when you make that roll to attack.
And how does that system work? Is it like D100 roll under? Is it roll higher? The higher you roll, the better. Okay.
Roll higher. So everything is based on I call it the success or failure roll chart.
Oh my God, you're reinventing face repair.
Yeah, it's funny because when I sent it to one of my buddies, he goes, a lot of this exists. And I'm like, I'm a D&D guy. Yeah. I really I've seen some of it, and obviously I know I didn't create it.
But this is permissible because you're TSR forever and this Marvel set of rules counts,
That's true. That's right. Yeah, that they had it for a while, right? They don't.
Yeah, all through the 80s, and I can't remember exactly. It lapsed sometime in the 90s, but they published those rules all through the 80s and 90s, and they even published one long after I had stopped paying attention to it. But yeah, they got like 3 editions out there.
So the chart's the same for combat or for skills, and this is the whole game once you get rolling. Okay. So 0 to 50 with prior to your bonuses is a miss, or if it's a skill, it's a failure. 51 to 70 is a glancing blow, which is a -5. So there's no hit points. It's all percentage based. From 100 down to 0, you're dead. If it's a skill, barely made it. So you're narrating. I'm narrating a little bit. Oh, I want to jump over that ravine. Okay, make your roll. Barely made it. Oh, and I'll get into great descriptions with the kids. You reached out with your left hand and barely scraped, and Alessa, you reached out and grabbed her,
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. That's why I prefer. I do tend to go for rules light and very narrative gaming like that. Oh, you barely missed it. You're hanging on by your fingertips. What are you going to do to save yourself?
I love the look in their eyes when they get into this because, again, I've tried so hard to get them into a real serious D&D campaign. I would love to play with them. It's not their thing. It's just not their thing,
So what you got to do, and this is the trick, you got to convince one of their friends it's cool. And that's the thing that's going to piss you off because eventually one of their friends they're going to make a friend who's into it. And then all of a sudden they're going to be into it and it's going to love it. You're going to be like,
my daughter actually was in my daughter that's in high school, my oldest, she actually was in a D&D club. I think what happened was there was too many that signed up for it. She came home one day and I said, so how many people? They're playing 5th edition. I'm being really nice. How many? She goes, 20 girls. She goes to an all girls school. 20 girls showed up. I said, that's a lot. Is there multiple DMs? And she's like, no, there's only one. So of course it fell apart.
Oh man. It's like, 20 girls playing D&D.
Oh God, I would have hit.
What a fantasy. That's like, an all girls school and they're playing D&D.
Probably the most in that area. I went to school right there. That's probably the most girls that ever played it ever.
Right. Seriously. Well, and I love playing with girls. Girls always have a spot at my table.
I try to get my wife. We have a funny picture. I killed my wife in a game, and I was ripping the character sheet, and she's looking at me like, "Yeah, never playing this again." So she laughs. She loves it.
Yeah, my wife has been gaming. That's actually how we met. We met through the course of gaming. Yeah, through a vampire LARP of all things, in kind of indirectly. She's. I've spoiled her now because I am the greatest dungeon master alive, and she refuses to play with anyone else. I mean, I can't blame her. That's why I solo. It's the only way I can have me as a dungeon.
The only way you can reach that level, right?
yeah. I got to challenge myself to aspire for even greater greatness. But no, this is really cool. I love this basic concept. You've got a simple resolution system. It gives us partial successes. It gives us full successes. It sounds like you have a kind of a critical concept in there as well.
Yep, 96 to 100, you're dead.
Yep. Oh, that's
the
great.
roll was always adjusted though. So the way I did armor was armor is a subtraction from their roll. So like my main character wears chainmail, which I believe is minus 25%. No, chainmail actually I think is minus 15%. So the critical doesn't come up all that often, but when it does, it's great. And then you could buy, as the skills go on, you could buy like a +5 bonus onto a certain type of armor if you're going to stick with that type of armor and such. And it's
I could get better at my fire breathing spell.
Exactly. You could always add to it, or you could buy a second spell if you want. The spells are a little wonky because it's still like you're only casting it one time and you're getting a +5%. So I'm still kind of working out some kinks, but for the kids, we're having a great time. It's fun.
Well, it's kind of like it's all that you need, right? You don't need all the great complexities because I've had similar experiences. If I'm working with young people, I want to use something more like Beck Me D&D, BX, Shadow Dark, something along those lines. Because diving into full D&D can be just a bit
overwhelming.
Much.
And we have to admit, a lot of them nowadays, their attention span is not the same. And it is what it is with the phones, and even when they have a great attention span, they want to use an app. They want some kind of integration with a device, which can be done, of course. Modern, well, even second edition, there's apps out there, stuff I've created. But by the way, I want to say something about that. So Patty mentions the school.
Yeah.
I asked the library recently. So we've been trying to get my stepdaughter into something, and she went to like a board game night at the library. So I went and picked her up, and I said to the girl, there was like a 19-year-old girl running it, which was great. Don't get me wrong, but as soon as I walked in, I thought it was going to be an older adult, and I didn't want to push too hard when it was a young girl. But I said, you ever consider role-playing games? Or she's like, oh, I don't know if we're allowed to. I don't know. They want us to do board games. So it was later, so none of the administrators were there. So I haven't pursued it more yet, but I'd like to try to get a game going at the library for the kids. And then I would really try to introduce them to a full system, but probably basic, but a real system as opposed to mine. Right. And, see where it goes.
I wish you the best of luck with that, because the more we can get this out with the younger generations, the more the hobby will just continue to survive. I really do feel like with the digital age, just like I don't know, kind of like model trains. When I was a little kid, everybody had model trains, right? But then by the middle of the 80s, nobody had model trains anymore. It was whatever, G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man, you name it, and stuff like that. So common everyday perceptions, it was like model trains just disappeared and died off. But now go up on YouTube or any kind of video app and look at the model train community now, and that stuff is thriving more than ever.
Good. That's good. Yeah, it's good to hear. My friend's father is actually the friend I'm talking about. That's my boss. His father's into model trains. I love seeing his setup down in the basement there and everything. But yeah, man, it's rare. In fish tanks, right? When I was a kid, every kid had fish tanks.
And it's something that goes by the wayside. But I feel like the hobby still continues, right? There's still people doing model trains, but it's become more niche. So the people involved in it are even more dedicated
into it. Yeah.
So like this influx we've gotten because of Stranger Things and Critical Role and who knows what else. Yeah, the tourists and the casuals are going to fall off eventually and sell off their D&D books. But we are picking up hardcore people all the time, man.
Well, brewing is very much like that. Brewing, I think a lot of people get into brewing and it's like, oh, I love beer, so I must love this hobby. And then the people get weeded out fairly quickly that didn't realize how.
Well, I love reading books. I must be great at writing.
Yeah, I'm the next, Henry David Thoreau, but So yeah, I probably aspects of that in any hobby, and that's why I think also like guys like us that are going to be on Twitter all the time, and then get on a stream or a podcast or whatever, tend towards being the DMs, right? Because we're always the ones that are very serious about it and think about it all the time and try to dream about it. I never dream about D&D. I don't know why. I try all the time.
And it's not for lack of trying.
Never.
I've got like lucid dreaming books. I've been working on this stuff. It's the ultimate campaign going on during the dreams.
Never. I don't know why. But I think that's why like we love it but hate it at the same time. That's always the complaint, right? He's like, oh, I'm the forever DM, but we're the dedicated ones, and if you're lucky, you find another group of DMs, which that's my first edition game where I actually get to be a steady player. I love it, and he plays in my game, so we get our little breaks. But thanks.
Thanks, Tag.
I'm bad. I worked in Brooklyn I don't think my accent was as bad growing up, and then I worked in Brooklyn for 12 years, and then Manhattan, it got really bad, really bad. I mean, I even friends from the Army that always made fun of me. My buddy from Wyoming was big on, your accent. But then later on, I was like, oh, it's gotten worse. I thought it would get better. And I'm like, no.
Well, I used to be able to understand you. Now, not so much.
I know. I'm one of the worst in the, I'm probably the worst in my family, to be honest.
That's funny. Thank you. I love Sonic. If you're asking about the thumbnail for the video, that was a Grok creation, simple prompt. And that's just something I do for every show. I try to create a cartoon of a goblin interviewing the guest.
Yeah, that was pretty close, by the way, to what how I envision Valmar. So
thank you. The prompt I used, was me trying to describe the miniature you use as your profile pic. So it was a wizard, dark hair, clean shaven. He's got a stamp with a glowing orange. There he is, the man himself.
The guy I keep talking about, the Greyhawk buddy that I'm working on the AI with. He's the one who painted this. I love it. I'm terrible. I don't here's my example. I don't know how well it's gonna. I guess I'm not that bad, but I don't know.
Well,
there's the eyes are horrible. They're dripping down.
Okay, yeah. We have to load up a higher res.
Yeah, I have to take a picture. The camera's not gonna.
I just can't tear you apart with that kind of low quality photo. I need high quality photos to really.
No, you're not getting one.
We played Hero Quest with the app one time, and he hated it. Yeah, I could see that. Hero Quest though is a game that for me it's fun once or twice, but it doesn't hold up for very long.
Hero Quest.
Yeah, it's an interesting experience. It's one of those things that, based upon what you've told me, I don't think it would survive long on your shelf. But it's the kind of thing that is super easy to just pull off the shelf and play with people who have never tried anything like it before. Definitely closer to a board game experience than a full role playing game.
Yeah, see, I'm all in with campaigns. I'm the like our current campaign. We will use the word campaign loosely in the sense that like, all right, we're done with this storyline, so to speak, and we're going to take a 6-month break and we'll do something different. But as far as continuity, we're going on 7 years now with straight same characters, well, the ones that have survived, in and out, obviously different characters, but same party,
right?
And same players. I don't see it ending as long as someone takes over for a little bit. I like to switch off every once in a while.
I can understand
that. Again, it's only the online. I can DM in person for years on end. There's just something about online that makes it, from time to time, it just feels like work. And as soon as it feels like work, I ask one of the other guys if they want to pop in. They take over for a little while, and then we switch back and forth.
Well, that's a great balance because goodness knows that's one of the most common complaints. I hate hearing the forever DM story because, that is so sad. That's so sad. Everybody should get a chance to play. And if nothing else, you should indulge in solo play. So Patty here has a story. We used to have a once a month game at the library, but the one guy that worked the library that was running it quit because he didn't like that parents were upset about the grooming books.
Grooming.
Oh my goodness. So my son and I went one time the war game day, and I felt like I was walking on eggshells. That doesn't sound like a conducive, healthy. I guess that he's talking about the library still.
But I wonder what system they were using for the war game.
That's a good question. I was stationed in Texas in the Army. Someone came up to me, like, "Oh, this other guy is from Boston too," and I was like, "Bruh, he's from Rhode Island."
Yeah. No, I know that because we can. That's like New York and New Jersey. People don't. I mean, you're from New Jersey, you know. Like,
I know. I don't know if it's still, but I come from that section of South Jersey. I call it deepest, darkest South Jersey because it's a little bit New York, and but it's also quite a bit hick. It's quite southern down there.
Listen, I go off-roading down there. A lot of people don't realize, as small as New Jersey is, many people don't realize how vastly different.
Yeah,
my family's from
rural than people think. Yeah,
my family's from Ocean County originally.
Right, so
not as far as you, but out of the city,
not that far of it. Yeah, right near. Is that just north of Atlantic County or?
Yes,
just north.
Yes, right? like is Egg Harbor in Ocean County? I can never remember, but
I think that is Ocean County. I used to vacation to Avalon every day, and we used to go to Stone Harbor and stuff like that. So I know the area you're talking about,
like Tom's River area.
Yeah, exactly, all that.
And growing up, that was. I mean, now it's pretty built up, but growing up, we used to walk outside and shoot.
Yeah, that's great.
My father, I was driving. My father had an International Scout, like a 70s Scout, and we used to run trees over 5 minutes from our house in New Jersey, where there's massive $1 million houses nowadays.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jersey is beautiful. There are certainly parts of Jersey that are beautiful, and the one thing I always used to joke about is we always heard growing up that the North Jersey doesn't like South Jersey, and they want to split up and become a different state. And then South Jersey doesn't like North Jersey, and they want to split up and become different states. But neither of them want Trenton. Like North Jersey considers Trenton South Jersey, right? And South Jersey considers Trenton North Jersey.
The river. I live right just south of the Raritan River now, so I'm right at like that where everybody argues, "Oh, Central Jersey." There's no such thing. That whole
there's Central Jersey. No, it's a myth. It's a myth. I believe more in the Jersey Devil than I believe in the Central Jersey. Okay, so for our last few minutes here, we're about 8 minutes out. I wanted to touch on probably the worst topic we're going to hit tonight: D&D 24.
Oh, so I don't know much.
What have been your impressions and what have you heard?
I saw the art and tuned out. Like we had touched earlier, I don't want to get into the culture war stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
I say it this way, that doesn't appeal to me. Like it just doesn't speak adventure to me. Adventure to me. Well, I mean, we know I don't have to go grab one of my examples, but adventure to me is the Mensa cover. That's adventure.
That's adventure. The art is so much more evocative and what we want. And like you just said, it's so much closer to the sword and sorcery roots that are part of the game, kit and caboodle, that I even overlooked until recent years,
And look, if that's where the game they want to play, the people who are going to buy that, then I guess that's the game. But that's not what I'm looking for. So why would I buy it? Why would I read it? And I'm not a hate watcher or a hate reader. If I know I'm not going to like something, I'm not going to waste time on it.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power stuff. I have a friend, you got to watch it so you can complain about it. Why would I do that?
Same for me. It's I'm very much one to avoid something if I'm predispositioned to like it. Yeah, but
it wasn't made for me. I mean, that's fine. But, it is what it is. If I was making that, I wouldn't make it for them. So, I'm not happy about it. I really wish the D&D name still had the ampersand and was for me, but it's now D&D and it's not for me. So.
Oh man. Wow. That's a subtle thing, but you're right. That's so important. They have an N, not an ampersand.
Yeah.
It's too
It's no longer.
I have to hit the shift key to hit that one. I don't
And
like
don't get me wrong, you'll see. Oh, I'm sure there's some people watching that are like, I've seen you on. I know. Yeah, occasionally we all do it. Sometimes I drink too much and I do it. We're all on there arguing sometimes, but ultimately, my real view is it's just not for me. I tried it. I tried fifth edition, like we spoke about earlier. It wasn't me. It wasn't my style game, and I pretty much just walked away. I was running a game in a game store. Was that about 3 years ago now? And we were all the way in the back, which was a good thing, but also a bad thing because they had snacks in the back, so everyone would walk back there in the bathroom. And our books, all the fifth edition people would be playing. Wednesday was role play night, so like they, all those stores are a lot of card games. I never got into the card games, so Wednesday was role playing game night, tabletop role playing games. So it was all fifth edition and a couple other games, and then us in the back. And everybody would come back. Oh, those. I know those books. And I swear, I'm not making this up. I'd hear the comment, oh, don't they have warnings on them? And I'm like, well, I don't even want to talk about this. Like, really? You have your game, I have mine. And that's it. It's the same hobby in some ways. So let's try to be nice to each other in that way.
Right.
And you just play your game and I play my game. And
Yeah. And can we don't pollute my game with your game, and I'll keep myself away from yours. Yeah, I tend to agree. I went ahead and bought the 2024 books myself. I don't hate them systematically. It is very much like you, but I'm not well versed with them either. I'm not with fifth edition either. Very much like what you said, though. You're starting out more as a superhero. Just the simple fact that you never run out of cantrips is that. Yeah, it's no longer a low magic game. It is a high magic game.
And I think like ultimately, if I to take everything else out of it, all the politics of the company and which are going to turn me off, and take all else aside, if you took the name away and I just was looking at it as a game, it's super high magic. It's every class has some options for casting spells and.
It's hard to escape character creation without at least a few cantrips.
Yeah, that just doesn't appeal to me. I was never into the superhero genre to begin with. It was I like Batman. I think.
All right, I'm going to choose not to be offended that you said that. But okay,
I don't hate it.
I'll let it slide.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. But like,
not liking it is enough.
I know. Believe me, my friends beat me up all the time. Look, the new X-Men, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Batman, I love though. I love Batman. I liked Spider-Man for a long time, but I never got into those games, But if you're playing a superhero game, if someone said to me, we're going to play a Batman game today, I'd be like, all right, we're playing Batman. I know that they turned D&D into that. That's not what D&D was. Like, if you just could have taken a different name, please, and made another game, I might have played it. I might have, I might have given it more of a shot because it's a different game. But that's my, I'm trying to be very contrarian about it, right? I'm trying to be nice about it, but ultimately, that's my one beef. That's where the beef, they took the name, they changed it into something that it's not, and so I'm just not. I don't know. Doesn't interest me. The art turned me off, and that was the end of it. And yeah, I saw the art, if you can call it art, some of it, but it's art.
It's the kind of stuff that I don't know. With the old books, when you're paging through, I would spend so much time just staring at the pictures, right?
Absolutely.
These pictures, they just don't grab my attention and keep my attention the same way, and that's just how I feel about the new art. It really doesn't hold up, but I'm a collector. I own every edition.
Do you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, all the way back. I own
that baking picture, right? We all saw the dwarves baking in the fort.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. And of course, we all participated in the great land basting of the block party or whatever you want to call that picture with all the gifs and animations that were going around that day. That was hysterical. Yeah. But I wanted to go back real quick to something that we were talking about, because I expressed my shock at you play second edition without any of the splat books. That's unheard of. I've never heard of that. And I wanted to wrap up by saying that's what makes this hobby so special. If you're painting, eventually you run out of paints. If you're doing models, you run out of pieces eventually. But with this hobby, as long as you have those books, you're good forever.
Yeah, I could, you could be in, I was just about to spout off the year and then I blanked out. What was the big year in when King Azun was the king, the era that was of second edition? You could stay there and just be ticking off the years. You never had to go to third edition if you didn't want to. You never had to go to fourth edition if you didn't want to. And yeah, that's the beauty of it. In the end, is that as long as I have those hard copies, which I do, they can't change that on me. And then you go to the added layer of making your own homeworld, and then really no one can touch you. So I'm just using that framework. Even, this is a whole nother conversation, but like when you get into the raw argument, I've always been sensitive to, like in first edition, anyone who gives it a deep reading can easily point out the aspects that are like, this was Gary's world. Like this is in here because, I mean, the blatant examples of spells that are named after wizards that.
Yeah. Absolutely. There is setting built into it.
Yeah. The setting is like built in. And I've always been sensitive to that. I know this will, drive some people nuts, but clerics not being able to use bladed weapons. I have always had an order somewhere, a god, where they can. Now you have to follow that god, and there's a set of rules that I'm going to make you adhere to that I created.
Nice. Yeah.
But you can use a bladed weapon, because that really doesn't make any sense. That you're telling me how pantheons in my world have to operate. So I've always been a little sensitive to that as far as the whole raw argument.
That is specifically one of the things that appealed to me about second edition when the change came, because they addressed that notion of the priest of specific mythoi. And for that reason, I even liked the priest book and thought that was a worthy addition. Yep. So I liked the fact that they mentioned it and talked about it, but I disliked that they only gave us one working example in the druid. So I wish they had done another 2 or 3 just for the player's handbook, but that's another thing entirely. All right, we are over time, sir. And people who want to hear more from you, where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter, Valmar Erebus. I have more followers than I expect. I don't know why, but not a crazy amount, but more than I ever expected.
Oh, right, yeah.
But yeah, reach out to me. I don't really do. Again, I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm never like that. So I'm not all over. You'll see me on Facebook under my regular name. I'm in some of the groups.
Okay.
I do still like Facebook groups because it's specific. Like, right. We all argue about that Twitter algorithm.
Yeah.
Comment on one political thing and I won't see you guys for a week.
Yes.
I've created a list recently. Anyone go to my page. I made a ultimate
RPG list. Yeah, I was checking that. I followed it.
And thank you, Edward, if you're watching this, because I was hunting. I had already gotten a deer and I'm just sitting in my stand scrolling. I was pissed off about the algorithm. He told me, make a list. And I sat there all week and I made a list. I love it. It changed everything.
Yeah, it does. Creating lists. And I've recently created a community for my punnage, me and
see you later, Patty.
Please. Yeah. All right. Good to see you, Patty. Thanks for stopping by. Erebus. Erebus or Erebus?
I say Erebus.
Erebus. Valmar Erebus.
When I created Valmar, I was watching the Terror.
Terror.
I forget what the name of the show is, but about
yeah. We watched that a couple year or two ago.
Great show.
Great show. It was great. All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'll come back anytime you want to talk about different topics. You got another slot. It was a great time. So
awesome.
Thanks.
All right, we will be in touch, sir.
All right.
Hit the end stream button.